sprouting. If we're very quiet, we may see the beans sprout.
I found another old secret in your DNA, in the stars from yesterday, in the flowers born 100 years from now, in the water flowing deep within my blood, in the clouds floating endlessly above. I found another old secret. I found another old secret. I found another old secret. Deep within the roots of trees, the hateful wanderings of my celiac, the soil dark and damp beneath my feet.
So my name is Justine Kovacs, and my connection to the garden is I am a recent graduate of Lakehead's Bachelor of Education program in the primary junior division to be a teacher.
My name is Ariel. I am doing an undergraduate degree at the university here, the Orillia campus of Lakehead, and I am in environmental sustainability sciences.
My name is Madeline, and my connection to the project is, well, I'm not a student here, but I'm part of the Lakehead Sustainability Stewardship Council as a community member. And last year I'd been coming here quite a bit to the Medicine Wheel Garden to do gardening with Indigenous initiatives and different events.
My name is Daniel Pecorella. I'm a volunteer here at the Community Farm Pilot Project, and live in Orillia.
Well, there's 3 different gardens here, I guess. There's the Medicine Wheel Garden there, which Mercedes from Indigenous Initiatives has been working super hard on, and she does gardening every Friday. And then to my right here is City of Orillia lets people rent these plots, these individual plots. And then there's like community gardens all around. And then my partner Jacob has been a big part of starting this research garden, so I've been connected through that.
Well, I really wanted to learn to grow plants and vegetables. I wanted to learn more about that. I wanted to reconnect with nature, and I wanted to meet like-minded people.
I first heard about the garden project at Lakehead through a presentation from Jacob to all of the students, explaining the Lakehead Farm Club, recruiting people into the club, but also just sharing the existence of the garden and the vision to expand it, including a petition that was made. And I was super inspired by this because I feel like not a lot of schools have gardens. So I was inspired and joined the club, and when doing so, learned about the vision to not just have gardens on Lakehead campus, but to have an outreach to local schools and to develop gardens at their schools too. So I was super keen to get involved with that, and applied to do an alternative practicum for my last one. And ended up being placed with 2 educators, amazing educators, 2 sisters, Paige and Erin, at Notre Dame Public School. And they wanted to do more gardening and outdoor learning at school in addition to what they were already doing. So they welcomed me into their classes. I was in a grade 4 and 5 split class and a grade 7 class. And really my challenge was to see how our garden vision could match with the Ontario curriculum. So both classes came here to the Lakehead campus. We walked here, and at the time it was April, so we were pretty much just getting the garden ready for the spring. The garden that we're in right now, this beautiful, lush, abundant garden here, was covered in turps at this time to prevent the growth of weeds. Over the time, it had been a research garden in the past, but was just the vision now was to measure out different pathways for garden beds to create what has been created here. So the students were given a map with measurements, and both classes got to come in and help measure out the very beginning pathways in this space.
In the spring, there was a lot more of, getting the beds, forming the beds, turning the earth, getting things ready to plant. I was quite involved in that.
Plants are coming from different places, like Greg from Camp House Farm in Oro gave us some plants. Aiden from Quaker Oaks in Seabright gave us plants. We have some from Bass Lake Farms in Oro.
It's been very communal in a lot of ways. It's like a community experience a lot of the time. Usually there are other people here who are enjoying the nature and helping out.
Yeah, so there's a whole team of people that are helping with this garden that continues to grow.
Jacob has a lot of farming and gardening experience, and you and Thomas with the video skills, and Gabriel has been doing some really cool sketching and organized like a poetry reading. So it's really cool how different people can bring their passions and interests and skills and kind of share it with others. We built a greenhouse recently, a little hoop house. So that was a really cool process too. So I've really felt empowered by doing hands-on building and labor this summer.
I mean, there was definitely a lot of crunch time in some ways, in some moments of the summer, where for example, we had some days where we really needed to get things planted, so that took priority, and then we had to build the trellis and we had to do a few other things.
Yeah, there's some people that have been coming on the same day each week, every Sunday. I've been coming now, committed to Wednesdays.
I've been here as much as I can, but I was traveling a bit.
I have checked in occasionally. It's been actually really interesting though to see that the garden here has really taken care of itself a lot. Obviously, there's been a lot of other people working to get it and tend it to bring it to where it is now, which is a beautiful, fruitful, vital space. But the few times that I've been here, we've had a lot of rain this year, so I haven't needed to water when I've come.
It's been a fairly wet summer, so I don't know if the pressure for keeping the plants safe from drought has been too high.
Fortunately, we just had a bunch of rain, so that helps with the watering, but weeding, clipping off the suckers on the tomatoes, trellising up the beans. Yeah, there's some people that are really good at IDing bugs.
Ariel, who's involved with the gardens, she, I think, works this summer doing research with bugs as part of her job. So she's been our bug champion, and learning from her has been really cool.
So in my studies and just my own personal interest, I do some work in regards to pathogens. This last summer, I also worked at an agricultural research station. So I learned a couple things about pathogens and plant health in general.
It's really neat to learn about companion planting and about the different insects that visit the plants. Some of them are companions to the plants, some of them would be pests to the plants.
We call it bug watch. We have different people responsible for being on bug alert and identifying them. And I saw some snakes in the research garden. That was cool. Lots of toads and frogs.
All the birds that have been coming to hang out, getting curious about who they are, their names.
The highlight of my summer is we found a nest of baby bunnies in the research garden in the tomato bed.
You're in the video.
The coolest thing for me is just witnessing the growth of the plants. From the seed, the tiny little dots, how different the little dots look, and then watching them grow into the fruits and vegetables that we eat.
Native perennial plants I'm getting pretty into just for their environmental benefits and also like the herbal benefits.
Today I noticed the zinnia flowers and having a new appreciation for what they look like. I got out my flower ID app on my phone to ID them.
In the other garden, we also are trying to grow out these leeks. So in the spring, Jacob and I visited Kentucky, I think that's how you say it, Seed Sanctuary, which is in Tyendinaga, Mohawk territory, kind of near Kingston. They have like a really cool seed collection of like rare and heirloom seeds dating back hundreds of years. So we got to go to one of their volunteer worker bees and do some hands-on planting, and we got a tour of the site. And by the end, they gave us some seeds to take home, and we also took home some leek plants. So we brought the leeks to the research garden and we planted them out from little seedlings, and now they're like full leeks, which is really cool. The goal is we're trying to save the seeds to contribute to their sanctuary, seed sanctuary and collection.
We're gonna do a little bit of a tour of the summer bloom that we have going on here. This is like a pretty close to perfectly ready to eat ground cherry. These are the tomatillos. Over here, I think we just have some more. These are the eggplants. We've actually got an eggplant growing here. On the other side here, we've just got like a little forest of kales. Purple kale, green kale. I believe this is goldenrod behind me. It's a good pollinator, lots of bees around. So these two zucchini plants right here, this is a row of zucchini and then some other gourds in towards the back. These two were attacked heavily by the squash vine borer, which will burrow into the plant and can cause damage like this. These here look like winter squash right here. Let's see. And we've got some more squash down here, pumpkin. So when the onions are getting closer to being done, they'll come higher up and you'll see most of the onion exposed even. And if they grow for long enough, what'll happen is the wind will eventually, like in conjunction with the leaves getting too heavy, the whole neck of the plant will be encouraged to fall down, and that's called lodging. These are the leeks over here. They're similar to the onions, but a little bit different. I actually think this is an onion pretending to be a leek, but these are the leeks. Here we've got tomatoes. We've got some issues, probably white mold on some of them. We removed most of the ones that had obvious white mold, but we've got other forms of rot taking place too. Other various disease issues. The rutabaga is getting really big, some of them. Peppers, a couple pepper plants. Okay, some are hot peppers, some are just regular peppers. Over here, we've just got some of our everyday use peppers, another variety over here. This is tobacco. The benefit of attracting pollinators is that they help make sure that the flowers turn into fruit, which helps make sure that we get a production out of all of these plants here that are capable of producing edible fruit. So having a garden like this will attract the pollinators into coming in.
Something that I've been noticing just in general is the mental health benefits of being in gardens. Just being outdoors in general, but feeling how calm, like when I visit this garden alone, I'm doing the weeding, I feel so peaceful, and it's really just taught me the value in being in gardens for wellness.
I think as like a younger person who does like climate activism and social justice activism, like it can just be really intense emotionally. And yeah, I guess it feels like there's a sense of urgency with the climate crisis. But the garden, you know, it teaches me patience in a lot of ways because, you know, when you plant a seed, it's not like the plant is just fully in bloom the next day. Like you have to work on nature's schedule.
I really wanted to come into this volunteer opportunity with the intent of being in relationship with the land and being part of the ecosystem around it and around me, and not working against it or not feeling separate from it.
Well, the garden to me is like a space of resistance because we live in this capitalist colonial society that's really brutal sometimes and based on individualism and competition. And any space that just is like an alternative to the dominant society and like a space of resistance is really special. And I think the garden really is that because it's based on like learning and sharing and reciprocity and environmental sustainability.
This garden and all gardens, I'd say, mean to me flourishing of life. And it's I'd say the back and forth, the reciprocity between giving to the land and tending to the land versus just taking from it.
Having other people with that mindset and working together, I've never experienced that before, and that was pretty powerful. Just the effect that we can have as a group, as even a small group, it's very powerful and more meaningful than just me doing it on my own, you know, and I've really appreciated that. And I think quite honestly, that's part of the big success here.